This is Ice Cream Gecko. We are right after sunset and I'm welcoming you to a new status update, the status update of April 2020. Now the first topic that I want to talk about, I've got three topics that I want to talk about, but the first one would be the camera that I'm recording this video with, the camera through to whose eye you see this wonderful creation of our Lord. That particular one, it has been crapping out recently, more often than I would like it to, and I always notice that when I take off the helmet and press the button to stop the recording, to wait for it to auto turn off, and nothing really happens, no beep, no nothing. And it had those problems right from the start, then they kind of went away when I stopped playing around with the modes and stuff. I just leave it in 1080p, 25 FPS all the time, and it's fine. But it's starting to come back up again, and I'm worried about it, and therefore I'm recording maybe the last status update on a motorcycle for quite some time, because I simply do not know if this is going to break anytime soon. Please. Oh. Now the second topic would be what I've been up to recently, because to be honest, not up to much. I am finishing up my bachelor's degree now, finally. The project work was quite good. Bike behind me. What was it? Oh no. Something. It was something. I finished that up. That was decent. And due to the pandemic, due to the virus, I am now limited to pretty much the things that I've done already. So I'm not doing any mass spectrometry, you know, the GC gas chromatography stuff. No, I'm not doing any more of that, which is fine. It's not really my thing. It's quite interesting what you can do with money and time and a lot of work, but you know, it's not really for me. So I'm just finishing that up, and I'm right now writing my thesis, or rather I'm trying to start writing my thesis. I've formatted the document properly, so all the headlines are formatted as headlines, and now it's got that. So now I can easily, automatically have the Inhaltsverzeichnis put in that, which is beautiful. It's wonderful how easy things are when you format them properly. Never did that before. So I've got that covered, and now I'm just, you know, trying to stop procrastinating and get this done and over with. I've got still time left, a lot of time. I've still got until the 31st of July until I have to, you know, put that to the test. But yeah, I want to be done by the end of June, certainly. Maybe mid-June, that would be, no, maybe even mid-March, that would be lovely. Anyways. Bro. I thought he was going to run into me, not gonna lie. It was like swerving around behind me. It was coming very close, very quickly. It was unnerving. So that is that for uni stuff. I'm almost done. So I've taken way too long for this, like seriously. I'm in the bachelor's thing for 5 years now. This is my 5th year when this is done. So yeah, it's finally coming to a close. Like chemistry, like I said in the last status update, that was the big one. That cost me at least a year, because you could only do the modules like once a year. So I did something similar like that today, but I at least gunned it when I was in front of the guy. I wasn't standing still. Where was I? Okay, yeah, I'm almost done with the uni. Like I do not even know what I'm gonna do. Like, this is beautiful right here. Look at this. It's a little forest, little serpentine. It's only like 50 meters of serpentine, but still beautiful. Either way. I do not know what I want to do after this bachelor's thing. I kind of want to... I mean, I am definitely going to ring up the Bundeswehr, the German army, and I'm going to beg them to maybe take me into some kind of pilot's program. Maybe not so many people want to enlist for the Air Force at the moment. Maybe I can get lucky. Because I mean, I've got glasses, and with glasses they usually do not take people into those programs. So yeah, but I'm still going to try it. Like, that was always my dream, becoming a pilot. That was my dream since I was a kid. Helicopters, airplanes in general. It's wonderful. It's the most wonderful thing I can imagine. Doing this as a daily job. Getting up early. You know, I hate getting up early. I mean, I like it when I'm up, but I hate the getting up part. But when you then, like half an hour or an hour later, after a short briefing and a coffee, walk out onto the airfield to the plane that you are going to fly, that's a dream, boys. That's a dream. Like, it's not gonna happen. It really isn't. But still, you know, I have to at least try, because if I do not do that, if I don't ring them up or actually physically go there to ask them about it and to, you know, send out an application form or whatever you have to do, then I will forever just have a voice in my head saying, oh, maybe it could have worked out. Maybe it was possible, but I just didn't try. So I have to do that. I definitely have to do that. So I'm going to. But the most, not the most, the more reasonable thing, the more likely outcome will of course be doing a master's degree in biology. Oh, I can go. What am I doing here? A green arrow. That could be painted out. You painted green arrows, you just have to come to a complete stop, and if everything's clear, then you can go. Didn't notice this one though. Did not notice. So 2 points that took way too long to explain, and now the third one, the actual one that's kind of burning under my fingernails, if that is a decent description of that. It's of course it's the pandemic, the virus, SARS coronavirus 2, and the thing with that is, are you good? She's looking for something. The virus. I'm losing myself like every 2 minutes. It's awful today. Awful! That's why I'm not doing these things anymore. Like I said in the first video about this of mine, the proper numbers, the actual numbers, what actually happened, proper documentation, is something we will never get. It's some people say, oh yeah, like in a couple of years we'll know about this, you know, about everything that happened. I don't think we ever will. The Chinese are not going to declassify such important information, because it hurts the image of China, and that's what they are trying to, you know, keep up high. It's not about the people of China, it's about the image of China that needs to be upheld. And therefore I don't think that they will ever admit to this massive wrongdoing that they did, or at least not the scale at which they did it. How many people they have actually put under the ground or burned. It sounds awful, but it is. It sounds awful because it is awful. It's a funny thing I read today was, I read it in a German online newspaper, like in a newspaper with the online website to that, which apparently quoted the Daily Mail, and they said that China, apparently the Chinese authorities have arrested 5,000 people for speaking out about the virus. Probably that's declared as scaremongering. by the Chinese government. Filthy scaremongers that need to be dealt with. Like, I'm not like denying that something like that could not happen here, but it is way less likely. Maybe it will someday again. Like, we had that. We did have that here in Europe. And something that is actually scarier than the Chinese numbers, that are of course not accurate, is the way that our Western, well, governments have dealt with this. Like, in the beginning of all that, the German authorities, they said that masks, they don't work. We don't need any masks because they don't work. They said that they held on to that fact that this is only being spread via droplet infection, that asymptomatic spread is not the case. That people who affect other people are symptomatic. That this is one checkbox that has to be checked. And we of course know that this is not true. We know that people can spread this asymptomatically. We know that a lot of people stay completely asymptomatic while shedding the virus, but all of that really has been either neglected, maybe they didn't know, but I cannot imagine that they didn't know, because we all know. If you follow international media and follow international papers or the summaries of those papers, you only have to read the abstract, to be honest. Then you can see that these early studies have really shown what is proven now. They've shown that. And I mean, I hold a scientific approach to that thing in high regard. But when you've got a target of trying to control or get a pandemic under control, you cannot wait 2, 3, 4 months until the study has been peer-reviewed. You have to look at what they found out and make out if it's plausible, and if all that is plausible and, you know, that's something that you could act upon, I think then you should just run with it. All those indicators, these early indicators, they're all pointing into that very direction. And what's also not being talked about most of the time, now it's slowly starting to rise, is the talk about long-term effects of this. Long-term effects on the lungs, on kidneys, on other vital organs, on the heart, of course. I mean, the thing with the what was it? Inflammation of the heart muscle. I think it's myocarditis. That came up quite early. That was something that was talked about. Cases started popping up in Iran, because they had quite a few cases of that. Heart failure, COVID-19 and heart failure, boom, dead. Happens quickly if you wait long enough. But I'm not a medical professional, so don't take my word for it. Don't take any of what I'm talking about. Don't take my word for anything. No, I'm at most a professional idiot, but not much more than that. So all those long-term effects that never have been really talked about, that's something that really worries me. Because it still seems like they want to play everything down. Like it's only going to affect people with comorbidities. It is only going to affect old people. As if they can be just, I don't know, left or something. Now it seems like some lives are being devalued. As if somebody who's over 70 has suddenly, you know, not the right to be fought for, or something along those lines. I mean, sure, when you've got 2 people in intensive care, and you've got 1 ventilator for them, and one guy is 70, the other one is a 30-year-old man. Who are you going to choose? Who do we want to keep alive? I mean, that choice is obvious. But here in Germany, we are not even close to having intensive care units filled up. They have prepared quite a few of them, which is good. And I hope that they are not going to fill them up, because that would be bad. So we're not at the point at which we have to make these decisions. And therefore I do not know if talking about such stuff is justified, is necessary, is helpful in any way, because frankly I don't think it is at the moment. Now I think I should conclude this topic at this point in time, because I really have lost myself. I have to cut some things out, and I do not know which things I can keep and all of that, so I'm just going to end it right here. I think I've made my points clear. So the last things I just want to say are that I do fear that we are getting a proper second wave, especially here in Germany, with the current lockdown measures being released or being softened up. I don't think this is going to work out for us too well, I've got to be honest. And I also think that I think there's something to those rumors regarding the origin of the virus. It is the thing that our DJ Trump said a week ago or a few days ago, that they want to talk about the lab in Wuhan and the virus and how it escaped maybe did come out of there, might be originating from that lab in Wuhan in China. The first assumption that I had when this came out, or when I saw that there's quite a density in that city of labs, and then there's this proper virology lab, my assumption from the start was that somebody screwed up. I don't think they would ever do that, release a virus on themselves, at least not now, not in this way. They would have done everything differently, I think, if they did so. No, I don't think they would do that. But I would not rule out the possibility of somebody having screwed up, infected themselves, didn't notice it, maybe didn't want to tell anybody, and thought to themselves, nothing really happened, right? It's not going to be bad, right? Because that's what happens in labs, when you've got your supervisors and everybody around you, or if they are not around you at this point in time, you don't really want to mess up, you don't want to be the idiot or disappoint them. So I think that this is a possibility, although I'm not going to be fierce on that point, because of course then I'm a filthy conspiracy theorist. The sad thing about this conspiracy theories was that that even aerosol spread, that even asymptomatic spread, that all of these things were damned as conspiracy theories. So, depending on who you ask, you are having trouble believing anybody these days. At least the guys who run this operation with the pandemic. But now it's time to stop. Now it's 1:11.9 for the petrol. Now it's really time to stop. Thank you very much for watching. I hope I'm going to make one of these sooner again, like not in December this year, in 2020, maybe one in the next few months again. New status update, we'll see about that. And if you've watched this video up until this point, please put Euro 6, like it's written, left to the right rear light of this bus. Euro 6. Thank you.